name's Andrew Seward. I'm Technical Product Manager at Esendex. Did you all get a chocolate bar given to you? Does anyone not have a chocolate bar? Marcus here doesn't have a chocolate bar. Oh. Oh my goodness. So, you should have a chocolate bar because it's relevant to the talk. You can do what you like with it. You can eat it. You can leave it. Throw it out the window. Well, don't do that, but you know, you can do what you like with it. So, I'm here to talk about treating your APIs as products. So today we're going to cover is a brief introduction, very brief because we haven't got long. Your API as a product and why that is important. Why is it important to think about your API as a product? What it means to treat your API as a product, and then how you get everybody on board. If we've got time, we'll get to how you actually achieve this. And then we might have a bit of discussion and questions if we've got time. Very briefly, I work for Esendex. There's some of the people I work with. A couple of them are wandering around. We're sponsoring today at APIdays today, so you can go to our stand. Yep. We're big fans of APIdays. We sponsored a number of them, and if you go to our stand and put a business card or fill out a little form and put it in a bowl, you can win a chance to have win a Scalex trick, which is powered by an app on your phone. It's really cool, so have a go at that. But yeah, what Esendex do, we do mission critical SMS. So we deal in text messages that really have to be there and have to be there quickly. So that's things like medical applications. We deal with a company in Madrid who deal with blood transfusions. So they'll send messages out and get everybody in to give blood as soon as they need it. They need them to be there quick, and they need to be there reliably, so they use us. We do things like that, server monitoring, delivery notifications, things that have to be there when you send them and reliably. So that's what we do. And we're hiring. If anyone wants to be a developer or many of the other jobs we're hiring for, we're growing very fast. So your API is a product. What does that mean? So if you look at that chocolate bar you've got in your hands, that is a product. That is definitively a product. There's no doubt about it. It is a product. You've already eaten it. That's good. But that just shows how effective it is as a product. But a product has features. It has quirks. Your API has features. It does this, or sends text messages, or reports on your delivery status. The chocolate bar, you put it in your mouth. It tastes good. Very nice. It's got quirks. It's an odd shape. It's got 2 levels of wrapping. It's got bugs in it. Well, hopefully not. I bought them yesterday. But things that are great about it, things that suck. So chocolate bar, tastes very nice, feels good when you eat it. Things that suck, makes you fat, gives you heart disease, diabetes, lots of health problems if you eat too many of them. There's things about your APIs that you love and things that people love and things that people hate. Customer journeys. So when with an API, you might go to the website and sign up. Or you might, be in an app hosting platform and you click add or whatever you do, whatever the customer journey is for adopting the API. There's also a customer journey for that chocolate bar. You're feeling a bit hungry one day and you thought, well, or maybe a bit low, it's not a good day. You nipped into the shop, you got yourself a chocolate bar, you ate it, you feel good. That's a customer journey of the chocolate bar. And it's got packaging, it's got instructions. Hopefully the instructions don't need to be too detailed on a chocolate bar. People who love it. People who don't love it. So, we're going to have a little exercise here. How do we talk about our APIs? Can everyone put their hands up if they work for a company that provides an API or that's their business? So keep your hands up. Keep your hands up, you people. Okay. Now, people who don't have your hands up, just look around. Find that person nearest to you that's got their hands up. Now, what I want you to do is for a very short period of time, I want you to, the people with you don't have to keep your hands up the whole time, but I want you to explain to someone who doesn't have an API what your API is. Tell them what it is that you do. All right, that's enough. That's enough. I wasn't going to give you long. Okay. Okay, good. Right. So when you were talking about your APIs, did you mention any of these things? Is it RESTful? Is it RESTful? Does it use REST? How great does it work with programming language X or framework Y? Is it good with Hadoop clusters and Python and whatnot? How it's secured, API keys, OAuth, basic OR, things like that. So this is the reason I asked you to do that is because the essence of treating your API as a product is about how you communicate about it. What do you say when people are interested in your API, or even internally within your organization when you're talking about your API? So, but the key thing to remember in all of this is that your users don't actually want an API. They don't want an API. They're not just got a fetish for API or for some data. They're like, oh, I love APIs. I mean, we do love APIs. That's fine. This is the crowd that love APIs. But what your customers want and what people who consume your API want, they have a problem, and they want a product that solves that problem. And that's an important distinction, and it's quite an easy one to miss if you're not treating your API as a product. So, see, the problem you tend to have with APIs is you have your technical people over here consider your API to be sort of just a way of, well, this computer over here talks to this computer over here, and they can talk to each other. And your non-technical staff and people involved in your API, well, they don't talk about it at all. They don't know what it is. So that's a problem. And that's kind of why we don't already treat APIs as products. It's not an obvious thing. No one had to say about the Kinder Bueno chocolate bar, no one had to say, wait a second, guys, wait. This is a product we've got here. It happened. They just sold it. They put a marketing strategy around it, a sales pitch. This is how they talked about it. They already treated it as an API. But we don't really necessarily treat APIs as products. And there's a few reasons for this. One of them is that APIs haven't been around that long. Like in year 2000, first API in the modern sense, it's a loose definition, but in terms of the APIs that we sell or use to sell products, Salesforce is probably the earliest example of an API. February 2000, that came out. Next one was probably November 2000. That would have been the eBay API. But that, like in 2000, that's not that long ago. I can't remember what I was doing in 2000. I was, going to gigs and trying to impress girls and failing. That's what I was doing. That wasn't that long ago. I can still very vividly remember those failures. So it's not really a new thing. It hasn't really imbued itself into the cultural consciousness. We're talking about this, all these sessions, and we're thinking about, well, how do we make APIs more usable? How do we get them more used within the world, and how do we help the world benefit from them? We're in the burgeoning early stages of APIs, so it's not obvious that we treat them like a product. The other thing is much more fundamental, a fundamental challenge of dealing with APIs. This chocolate bar, if I was to say, if one of you were to say, look, Andrew, I don't know what this is. What is this thing? What is a Kinder Bueno chocolate bar? I can just go, well, that's a chocolate bar just there. Look, there it is. Open it up, put it in your mouth. It's done. You can see it. You can touch it. I can go to you, hey, that's a chocolate bar, and you've got it. But an API, I can't show you an API. It is a thing that happens. It's a sort of series of instructions that sort of happen in a wire between two computers. You can't see it, you can't touch it. And if you're non-technical, good God, how on earth are you supposed to deal with that idea? Hey, I want you to sell this API. What's an API? I can't show you an API. But if you're technical, you tend to think of it, well, it's a protocol. This one talks an HTTP request, and the HTTP request goes ahead and makes a response. That responds, and then they exchange information, and then they close the connection. That's they understand the API from that level. But that's a problem. So how do you actually talk about the API? You need to be able, your technical people need to be able to talk about it with your non-technical staff, and you need to be able to communicate with your customers, some of whom might be technical, some of whom might be not. So what we do, we talk about what you can do with it and why, and not how it works. We're very tempted when we're talking about APIs, and because we're deep in it, we're right in the middle, we're in the woods. This is what we do, this is what we love. But when we talk about APIs, we very often will talk about how it's RESTful, and we'll talk about how it's good with Hadoop, and it works with this stack here, and if you've got this, it's really good. You just connect and you send, and it responds, and it's good. But that's how it works. If you were to say to me, okay, well, explain to me what this Kinder Bueno does, and I said, oh, I was going to sell you Kinder Bueno. Okay, well, what the Kinder Bueno does is you put it in your mouth, and your body breaks down the glucose molecules, and then they sort of absorbs it into your bloodstream, and then your body releases endorphins in response to the increase in glucose. You're going to go, well, I'm probably not going to have a Kinder Bueno today. It's not the best sales pitch. So when we talk about the API, we have that same problem. If we just talk about how it works, we're not really talking about it as people want to use it. We're not talking about the problem. So we talk about what we can do with it and why. How does it benefit me? Why do I care what a product, what that API does? What does it do for me? So less of this. This is some Esendex marketing that before I went on this rant. And you can't see it too well on this screen here, but just here, there's a big blob of code, which is, it's not untrue. You do use code to access our API. But that is like from an old version of an old example from an old version of our PHP SDK. I don't use PHP personally, but that is something that if you can sort of see the problem. And we also talk a lot of things here, like examples. We've got examples of code in .NET and PHP and Ruby and Java and Perl and Delphi. We do. But that's not untrue. But that's not a sales pitch. If I'm a developer, I just want to know, like, well, does it solve my problem and is it easy to use? All of that, we're kind of trying to say it's easy to use, but just say it's easy to use. And this, if I'm not a PHP developer, or if I'm not a developer at all, that just looks complicated. You can integrate Esendex's API, make it send a text message, 2 lines of code. It's dead easy. But that does not look easy. It doesn't look easy to me, and it certainly doesn't look easy to a non-technical person. So but you can see the problem. Like, if I'm in the marketing department, and I want to sell the API, I've got to, okay, we'll need some imagery for this leaflet. Okay, well, let's put some code on there. It'll look futuristic, be like the Matrix. And then as soon as someone from the business community comes over, he's like, I want to use this, and looks at that code, and that looks complicated. Complicated is expensive. All right, we'll pop that one away. So that's a problem. You can't see it, you can't touch it. So what do? You can do much more of this. So this is our this is our current website. Let's see if I can. Hold on. Let's see if I can open that. Oh no, I can't. Okay, that was optimistic. So on our developer site, which you can access very easily, you can go to the API page and it explains these are the features of the API. This is what you can do with it and why it's great. You know, and we talk about those things first. Unfortunately, I can't show you it right now because whatever. Okay, so to sort of summarize all of those ideas, when you talk about your API, you talk about these things first. What does it do? How the customer can benefit? What is the reason for integrating that feature or making use of that feature? And how easy it is to use. Definitely talk about how easy it is to use, because it is easy to use. We spent this whole conference talking about making APIs easier to use. So yeah, definitely talk about that. But you can talk about these things later. It's not that you don't talk about how it's RESTful. You can talk about how it does what it does, how you integrate with it, how RESTful it is, and how well it works with ELK stacks and Hadoop clusters and C# and Java and PHP and Node and Scala and Ruby and all of the others. So, but that's. I'm not saying you don't talk about those things. You absolutely do talk about those things, but you're much later in the sales cycle when you're talking about those things. You're sort of at the point where it's like, well, that sounds good. I'm going to think about integrating it now. How do I do that? Well, then you can talk about that. That's a good conversation to have. But usually when you're saying it's RESTful and you're saying it works really well with ELK stacks, again, you're just saying it's easy to use. So just, instead of that, just say it's easy to use. Because that's all they want to hear. Show them some code. As a developer, I don't want to have a conversation about whether it works well in Python or ELK stacks. I don't care. Just show me some code, and I'll decide whether I'm going to use it or not. So just do that. Give them that. But the first question is always like, well, is it actually going to solve my problem? How are we doing for time? We all right? We good? Okay. Well, so here's how you sort of go about doing this. So at Esendex, we had this problem. We had a bit of a challenge with us on our hands a few years ago, and the problem we had, we've got this web application product for sending, and that lets you send SMS. And good thing about the web application product, people can log into it and send text messages. They can upload a spreadsheet of text, all of that. You can do all that stuff and loads of other things. But if I've got a non-technical staff member starting, person in the marketing team, person in the sales team, I can just go, well, there you go. That I can show it to you. This is what our web application does. But I can't really show you the API. And so So we'd sort of say, well, this is what Esendex is. It's sort of like this. You can send text messages. You put who it's to and who it's from, and then you click send, and it shows up on the phone. And so we can show them the web application product. But because they couldn't see the API, we didn't go to great lengths to explain the API. It sort of just became in the consciousness of Esendex that that's what we did. It wasn't the API. Actually, the API was by far most of our business. And that's kind of what we needed to people. Our API was succeeding despite the fact that no one was actually talking about our API. So then we went on a massive effort. We started getting the team on board. So getting the team on board and making sure they understand this idea. So it's all very well explaining this idea to you guys. Yeah, this is an API conference. You can probably sell the idea that it's important to talk about your APIs in the right way, and it's important to be able to communicate about your API. But yeah, it's not really any use if the rest of your team and the rest of your company isn't really on board. So how do you do that? So we did training. We train every single staff member regularly. Every single staff member in all of Esendex is trained on the API. We show them it being integrated with. We don't ask them to write code, but we do show them it being integrated. We talk about. We teach them what are the key talking points. How does it work? We sort of deal with that a little bit later. They're not expected to know that, but they are expected to know, well, this is what the use cases people have with it. This is me probably a year ago training Stacy. She's in the finance team. Debbie, she's in the support team. Demi, she's in the marketing team. And George is a developer. And so everyone in the company, regardless of position, gets this training. And they get it again. They get it repeated. They get it regularly. Just to reinforce this idea, everybody needs to understand what our company does, what our API does, and why, and how it benefits people. So you need everybody to understand what your product is, who uses it. So some customer examples are great for this. We've got loads of customer examples. We've got loads of customers using it. We just talk about it. They use it this, and they love it because of this. How they benefit from it. What is their use case? What is the benefit from it at the end? How it performs. So how are we responding to that? Are there situations where we're not as good? There are situations where we're really good. And that keeps that dialogue open. And how we talk about it. Strictly, we really do focus on the language we use when we talk about the API. So our marketing has to be, how we talk about the product on our API externally is totally relevant. Is exactly the same about how we talk about it internally. Our developers can go and talk to our support team and our sales team and our operations team who are maintaining the whole infrastructure, or they're pretty much the development team. But even so, they can all talk to each other and they can do it in a common language. So yeah. So the key thing here is you change how you talk about your API and you change how people think about it. You've armed people with the information that they need to be able to talk about their API. So when a customer rings up, the sales team aren't going, oh crap, they want the API. Yeah, you sure you don't want a web application? They're completely confident. They can go, okay, well, I'm not expected to tell them how to integrate it with it. It's not a woolly, weird developer thing that developers do. It's actually a thing that I can talk about confidently. They use it. They want to send delivery notifications. They want to send alerts to their staff. They want timely reminders because of this or that. So they can just talk about that. They can recognize the use case that the customer's presenting, and then they can sort of put it out there and discuss it. So today we have covered a very brief introduction. Your API is a product and why that matters. Oh, I lost my indent. Treating your API product as a product, what that means and how you do it, and how you get everybody on board. Very briefly, this is quite a short slot, I suppose. So, are there any questions about that? Yeah. Okay.
You finished a little earlier, so we have time for questions. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Where are we hiring? In terms of what?
Location and world.
We have an office in Nottingham where our development team and our operations team, and we have our UK-based sales, support, marketing team. We also have an office here in Barcelona. We have an office in Vienna, Madrid, and Melbourne. So we are pretty much hiring in all of those locations. Oh, we got a new office in Derby in the UK as well. Yeah, we're growing fast. So we're hiring like everywhere.
Okay. So who has an API as a product? Or who wants to make an API as a product? Yeah, some people there. Okay. Any questions specifically on the talk? So maybe just to open the next talk that will be in Spanish, so you will be the English part of it.
Okay.
But what's today like the most common, to your mind, business model for an API as a product?
Let's think. Probably.
If there is kind of one classic one for you, right?
An API that's sold as a product. I don't know. You definitely see the problems very commonly. You'll go to a website and you'll see, oh, actually, they're telling me how before they're telling me what it does. SendGrid do an excellent job of describing the benefits of their API first, and we learnt a lot from looking at SendGrid and talking to their evangelists as well. So let's see. It's a good question. Who else is doing a great job with their API? Quite a lot of people actually. Like this is a big learning experience for Esendex, but other people have been down this road and solved this problem. I was talking to someone from TomTom. They just released a brand new API to their system, and TomTom had completely started product first and worked towards an API that way. And that is a great example of, like, they had their features, benefits, they figured out how to talk to their sales team and their support team. They figured that whole thing out. So that's really good. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry if someone interrupt me. Yeah.
That's all right.
So, do you have a monetization strategy around your API?
Oh, yeah. People will send text messages, and we make them pay for the text messages. We give them a load of other stuff for free, like you can check messages you've sent, and you can look at statistics, and you can look at your messages you've received, you can get push notifications, and you can manage your account and stuff like that. There's a whole bunch. Oh, there's a whole contact management system as well, so if you want to manage contacts and groups and stuff like that, we don't charge for any of that, because it all supports the sending of messages. So if they have a strategy or a product they want to offer that incorporates those things and sends messages, well then fine. Yeah, you send an SMS, we'll charge you for that. Yeah. It works. It works.
And would you say the same advice about make your API as a product if it's a big company that launch an API?
Yeah. So like, it's really important that treating your API as a product. A product is, you might not be selling it, you might be offering something that saves your customers money, or it might be something that supports other products. So quite often you'll be putting data out there, but you're still providing a product to the people. You know, there's a bunch of use cases out there and ways that people want to make use of that API, and they are business use cases. They are actually problems that people are trying to solve with either consuming some data or having you do some processing for them, or whatever it is. They are using that as a product. There's a bunch of benefits that are offered to them that either save them some money or that earns them some money that they can benefit from by using your API. And so you have to think about it as a product, because that's how you decide, well, what's it going to do, and is it actually going to work, and people are going to enjoy it, and how are we going to tell people about it? All of those things are just the fundamentals of treating an API as a product. There's lots of great talks yesterday that really underscored this point. So, okay. Yeah.
Because I take just an example on retail. Vente Privée, which is the biggest European really commerce, delivery commerce for shopping, whatever. But when he went on internet, he was thinking like the web is just another country. Like we sell in France, we sell in Germany, and we sell on internet. Yeah. So it was like the web was just another country. But today, just imagine a retail company that sell I don't know, sell shampoos, that sell sports clothes, and an API. You would say your API has to be like really product, like or no?
Well, it's not a product. Well, I suppose it's a way of consuming their product, but actually it is a product because there's a benefit for me to go onto their website and rather than going to the shop, or there's reasons why I would choose to engage with their website over competitors or over what they're already offering in a different way. So there's a benefit to them and there's a benefit to me. So if they're going to put that out there, that there is value in just, rather than just thinking of it as a sort of electronic way of opening up access to something, it's actually an offering that's going to benefit people in some way. Even with the most sort of abstract idea of an API, there's always someone at the other end that's going to consume that for a good reason, and they're going to benefit from it, and they're going to either save some money or make some money out of it.
So who should be at the head of the API? The lead API engineer or the product manager?
Well, I'm a product manager, so I might be skewed on that. But I think it's just at Esendex we don't really see it that way. I have the lead developer on the API, and me as the product manager. We kind of end up we're kind of at the same level. So he's got things he wants to achieve technically, and I've got things I want to achieve as a product, and it actually works quite well for us to be on slightly pulling in different directions. But we get on. That's we don't. If I'm just saying build this feature, build this feature, build this feature, then it puts him in a more difficult position to say, well, okay, I need to pay back some technical debt or do something in a certain way. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.